Hello and welcome to a new series by myself, which I thought might be quite fun. Now, I've been thinking for quite some time about my channel where I've been doing some blogs and I've been showcasing some gameplay on games of a type that I would have played back in the day, but they've been reimagined for a newer audience. And I thought to myself, well, I quite like thinking back in the day what I was doing, and I also have thought to myself that I really ought to start playing some of those great games that were in my youth. So I thought, why not combine the two? Why not show a game, talk about the year that the game came out and what was going on in my life, and feature some really bad gameplay by me at the end of me playing the game. So for this first one, I thought to myself, what game shall I play? And these are going to be in no order, but I do remember this one quite fondly, and it's Dig Dug. Now, during the video, I'm going to start putting up some information, so I thought to myself, what would be nice to brighten up this dull screen? So over here, I'm going to be putting some video footage, probably just of what the intro or a track screen looked like. And over here, I'm going to put up some cue cards about the game. So, what do I want to talk about when it comes to Dig Dug and the year it came out? Well, the year came out in 1982. And for me, computers in 1982 were the ones that I'd actually bought and the ones that I was fixing. So at this particular time in 1982, I had a VIC-20. I still had my ZX80 and ZX81, and I just fixed up an Atari 800 and was having immense fun with that. In 1982, I believe I was now approaching my second year of secondary school. So I'd moved from primary school, spent a year going to the big school, as we called it, and in the autumn of 1982, I believe I was moving into my second year, so things were starting to settle a little bit at school. But during my off time of going to school and doing homework, I was doing things around the house, playing on my computers where I could, but I also used to like going into town and seeing if I could play a new arcade game. Being a sleepy town, we didn't have too many, but we did have a central bus station. This is where all the buses drop off everybody into town and where everybody is picked up, rather than picking up passengers on their route. And it was a big complex, and it consisted of a newsagent, which was absolutely brilliant, obviously toilets for men and women, but more importantly, a cafe. And in that cafe, there would be periodically an arcade game which would get changed every now and again. Now, I really do remember that newsagent because they had what they called spinner racks. And spinner racks used to where all the comics used to go that were imported from America. And I was just sort of like midway through collecting my comics for American, because I was mostly having British reprints. But enough about that. Where else would I have played Dig Dug? Well, the other thing that used to happen in my town is we used to have a travelling fair that would come to my town around about October every year, and it still does now. This would be where a mass of arcade games would be. We're not talking one or two that are in the corner of a restaurant. We are talking 30, 40, 50 machines, all in a big sort of like outside portal, outside complex. And literally there were pinball machines and arcade machines. So usually how I used to get to play Dig Dug without the travelling fair was that I used to look after my nan, who was in her 70s. Now, she suffered with tinnitus, ringing in her ear. But she used to love, in her youth, going down to bingo. So we would get a bus down to town. I would drop her off at bingo and spend 10 or 15 minutes with her. I would then go around with my £1 coin into town and see what I could find. And then once I'd gone around all the electrical stores like Dixon's and Curry's, and the toy shop and the model shop, I would go back to where my nan was, and we would get the bus back. But we would always stop off at the cafe, because my nan would like a cup of tea and I'd like a milkshake. And that's when I managed to spend the last of my £1 playing the arcade games. So what else do I remember about 1982? So let me think. When it comes to music, I was actually studying music at school just for the first 3 years, like most people were, because we didn't get to choose our lessons. But I was listening to the stuff that I used to like, which, because I was a big film goer, I listened to soundtracks. But the music I was listening to that was in what we consider modern music or pop music, I'd be listening to the likes of Human League, Kraftwerk, Madness, Adamant, and Survivor. But I don't remember too much about what was going on January to December. So I did look up some things. And apparently noticeable things that happened this year were in January, Ozzy Osbourne bit off the head of a bat that was thrown onto the stage when he was at a concert. That's a very big talking point and a well-known story. In May, we had the Eurovision Song Contest. It was won by Germany, by an act or a lady called Nicole, and it was called A Little Piece. Now, that wouldn't be something that would mean much to me, because although the Eurovision Song Contest was watched by my parents and I would obviously know a little bit about it, the importance of that particular track was it was the 500th UK #1 single. So that was quite a milestone. And then in November, there was a broadcast of something that became a mainstay for me. And that was the first broadcast of a TV show called The Tube, which was very music orientated. Now, I talk a little bit about films, I always do, and I remember going to the pictures quite a little bit on this because I was now in my teenage years, and I'd moved away from things like Kids Club, and I was now going to see bigger type films. There wasn't much security, so nobody really batted an eyelid if you saw something that was a little bit more than a PG, but you definitely wouldn't get into an 18 film very easily, although I did manage a couple of times. So the films that stick out for me for 1982 that I remember watching were Blade Runner, that was a biggie for me, Poltergeist, Tron, which was exceptional when you consider computer graphics and what we were playing in the arcades, Rocky 3, First Blood, and Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. My sister was also going to the cinema. We didn't go together, but I remember her getting quite excited about Grease 2, if I remember rightly. But enough about that. Let's talk about the game. So all I knew about this game is that you were digging around under a garden and you were going to be killing some creatures, and they were called Puka and Figar. One looks like a red tomato with legs, with big eyes, and the other one, Figar, looks like a dragon that breathes fire. The thing that was weird about this was that these creatures didn't attack you, you attacked them. You tunneled towards them to kill them, and I never understood why I was killing them. And the way that you killed them was only two ways, but they're a bit sadistic. You either let them follow you where you tunnel under a rock and then you move to one side and the rock falls on their head, which is quite nasty and a shock to them, I'm sure. And the other one was using a pump to fire into them and then pump air into them until they explode. That's really, really quite graphic if you think about it. But the nice thing about Dig Dug is, and almost all arcade games, it was all cartoony type graphics. It wasn't realistic. So nobody was being hurt. Nobody was going around the world firing air harpoons into people. Just like any game, I didn't get very far in it. But when I was doing a little bit of research, I found out that, like many arcade games of that era, there wasn't a real end, but there was what they call a kill screen. In this particular game, when you got to 255 levels and you won that level, the screen would blank out. You could wander about for a little bit and then you'd inevitably explode, and that's what they call a kill screen. So enough about all of that history, enough about all my gumph. Let's get rid of all that gumph that's been in the corners. We're now going to see me make a complete cock-up, I should think, of me playing Dig Dug, which I haven't gone back to in 40 years, and I hope you enjoy it. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Hello again. So I thought we'll put some little gameplay elements into here, and this is Dig Dug, as mentioned before, and I haven't played this game in the actual arcades since the mid-80s, but I have come back to it on occasion under emulation, but it's been a good while, so I'm quite looking forward to reliving this classic arcade game. And might as well put a coin in and start the game. I'm digging down into the center. Okay. So you sort of tunnel around and then blow the little suckers up. They turn into little ghosts if you leave them for a while, otherwise they don't attack you, really. This one's going to rush up to the top to escape. There we go. Now each time you complete a level, a little flower appears at the top. It's supposed to denote the level you're on, I think. There we go with that one. Oh my god. Got you. It's quite a horrible death, really, isn't it? Firing an air harpoon into someone and then blowing them up. I'm sure my nan would disapprove. Oh no, die. But most arcade games were you battling an alien invasion or something. This one is, it seems that you're the bad guy, I think. I mean, what have these people done to you? These little creatures. Nothing. Now, it's also got an unusual way of doing things. I believe the music programmer couldn't get a good way of getting a stepping sound, so they decided to make the tune only happen when you were walking. Interesting. I don't think that's been done before. Ah, terrible there. Got to look out for that. That was awful. tricky there. Lost the life, damn. Okay. Start digging a few extra tunnels, I think. That was quite good. Yeah, missed him. We're now ganging up a lot. Well, that worked out well as a strategy. I'm really starting to enjoy myself now a little bit. Little kits. So they start off looking like cute and cuddly, and then they breathe fire and all that sort of crap at you. Ah, didn't quite get there. Oh my god. Okay. Ah, didn't see that coming through the walls. Look at that. Okay, 1 life. Can I get to 20,000? Yeah. Got ya. Oh, missed you. Okay. How far can Delboy get? Not far if they're going to go like that. Bloody hell, how fast that was moving. Right, let's get you. Ah, I was hoping I could just blow it up and get that. Oh, and that's the end. Wow. I really enjoyed that and got to round 10. That's probably very, very low. I do apologise. But I'm quite happy with that. And we'll just put my name in. You can see I did a little bit worse. Oh, and there we go. And with that, I look forward to the next one. I really enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.